Hello and welcome back to Tottenham Logic TV. Doing another live this morning. We've got a European Cup game tonight against AZ Alkmaar. So it got me thinking, why don't we win trophies? Like, we're all hoping this season. We're favourites to win the Europa League. We're still in the League Cup, still in the FA Cup. But in recent times, and I say recent times lightly, we just struggled to win trophies. I just want to know your thoughts on why you think that is. I want to delve into it, and because for me, there's a whole load of things that could be the reasons, and one person gets blamed or the manager gets blamed. Levy, it could be like a Daniel Levy thing because he's been here since 2001. It could be the manager's fault. It could be the players' fault at the time. It could be over exaggerated from the media. It could be poor recruitment is why we don't get over the line. Managers not being good enough, the club mentality, or is it the fans' mentality? If we won a trophy under Ange, does this mean that everything we just mentioned must be false if he comes in and wins a trophy? I need to hear your perspective on this matter, as we have become the butt of the joke in recent history. We're supposed to be a top six side, one of the big six, and we're the only ones that don't win anything. We've won one League Cup. If let's say, for example, let's say we did win a cup this year and we won the League Cup. Would anything change? Would we stop being called Spursy? Because I don't think so. All we'll get then is it's only the League Cup. Stop sticking your chest out, which may be the right thing to say. I think only sustained winning would shut the Spursy tag up. I don't think just winning one trophy would be sustainable for us to be stopped being called Spursy. Look at City, for example. City win every single year, and all they get is you cheated. There's always going to be someone to criticize out there, no matter what you do. It's almost impossible not to have negative feedback. Let's look into what we've won as a club, and I'm telling you now, it's not recent history. But we have won 2 league titles, 8 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 2 European Cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup. And the reason why I mentioned the Cup Winners' Cup is because the Gooners like to mention that when I say you haven't won European trophies. 7 Community Shields. And the only reason why I mentioned them is because Pep himself said it's still a trophy. So I'm going to count all 7 of them. And plus, we haven't got many, so I'm going to count them anyway. We haven't won a trophy in 17 years, and that is not good enough for any Spurs fan. We used to be seen as the cup team, the cup side, the team that always wins in the year end in 1, 51, 61, 91, probably 31. I can't remember now, but so how many finals? Let's hypothetically blame Daniel Levy. How many finals have we been in since Daniel Levy has been in? So we've been in 6 finals since Levy's tenure, and we've won 1 of those finals. Is that Levy's fault? We was in 1 genuine title race, and the reason why I say genuine is because we ended up finishing 2nd. The other so-called title race, we finished 3rd behind Leicester and Arsenal. Technically, we were in the race for a while, but not towards the end. So I'm going to say he was in 1 genuine title race, 1 Champions League final, 4 League Cup finals since Levy's took over. We've also had 14 semi-finals under Levy. Is all of this Levy's fault that we didn't get over the line? Because we were good enough to get to the semi-finals and finals. Levy didn't automatically make us into a bad team for the final. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that. So Liston says, if Man U could win an FA Cup last year in the manner they played and in the form they were in, we could do the same. It's not a mysterious force preventing us from winning. We just have to do it. And that might be, again, down to mentality, because Man United as a club, as a fan base, are used to winning trophies. So maybe that could be blamed on mentality. When they get to finals, they win finals. When Spurs get to finals, we tend to lose the finals. So RDMB says it should have been 21, but the bold goblin sacked the serial winner 1 week before his cup final. And again, that's another example of, is this Levy's fault? Because again, I agree with you. He shouldn't have sacked him before final, especially Mourinho. If that was like Nuno sacking him for a final, the emphasis on it wouldn't be so bad. But because it was Mourinho, the serial cup winner, there's every chance we could have won that. But there again, if you look at it another way, there's every chance we might have not, because it was City at the end of the day, and City beat everybody. RDMB, I think it's the mentality issues from the owner. Yeah, so that's what I was just saying. So maybe Levy was afraid to win a trophy, because then he would have to keep Mourinho and then back him, because Mourinho's proved he can win a trophy with no money. And then he would have stormed into Levy's office and said, look, I want money now because I can get a trophy with no money. Now give me some and I can do more. Maybe Levy was afraid to back him because he didn't want to put the money in. Ada says, I think it's because the board's main focus is top four and and not winning trophies, and people like making fun of us when we don't win, and I think that puts more pressure onto the team. Yeah, and pressure is obviously going to be on the team, but what Ange Postecoglou is doing this year, which I like, is he's saying that we haven't been here 24 years ago. None of these players were here 24 years ago. I'd say 90% of the team wasn't here 2 years ago. So the mentality now, he's trying to shift from these players to say, yes, you are Tottenham, but you're not the history of Tottenham. You're the future of Tottenham. And he's trying to install a new mentality, which takes time. It takes a very long time to turn a club around, not just winning wise, but mentality wise, to say, once you win, I think it's going to come down to Ange needs to win with this group of players. Once he wins with this group of players, then I can see a mentality shift. I can see them believing now, like, we are not the old Tottenham. This is the new Tottenham. Pochettino did that to an extent. He changed the mentality by getting us into title chases, by getting us into semi-finals of FA Cups and finals of League Cups. And he was showing, on the pitch that we can get to these finals. We just got to get over that line. And, nobody wanted to play Spurs under Pochettino. Nobody. I'm telling you, nobody. Not Manchester City, not Chelsea, not Arsenal. Nobody. We were that good. The best defense in the league, best attack in the league. For some reason, we were winning 4-0 every week, and Chelsea were winning 1-0 every week, and they ended up winning the league. So it's not how many goals you score, it's how many wins you get. And, I think we won the 12 of the last 13 games that season and still came second in the league. And so there was no Spursy involved in that. Not at all. The mentality was strong. We was winning nearly every single game. So the mentality was okay. So there was no problem mentality. There's no problem with history of Spurs. There was no problem with Levy. It was just that Chelsea were better that year and more consistent than we were. Bingai says, beginning to suspect our money masters are secretly conducting commercial deals behind the scenes, just like good old days back in Rome. Bread and circus in a way, because they also have to pay back debts. Yeah, and he also says big money, not just thousands of dollars and pounds. So yeah, Levy does put a lot of emphasis on other things like the NFL, and it really pissed me off a little bit, actually, for him to say this is the home of the NFL, because it's not the fucking home of the NFL. This is the home of Tottenham Hotspur, and it has been for, well, this ground has been since 2018, but this area, it's been Spurs for over 120, 30 years. So, this is not NFL, this is Spurs. And, this is the primary objective. We need to make sure this team is successful before we start making NFL teams successful. Stephen says, Levy has only won us one cup since 2001. I believe he is a curse to us. He might have got us a new stadium, but what matters is trophies. Exactly. I liked the old White Hart Lane, and the last season we had there, we was undefeated and won 17 out of 18 games there. And the whole point of getting a new stadium is to get to more income in to sign top quality players. And I don't always believe, and this is the thing, this is where it gets a bit tricky for me. I don't always believe you have to spend 100 million to get the best player. Chelsea proved it last year by signing Cole Palmer for 40 million, and he's one of the best players in the league, in my opinion. Not far off Haaland's level. So I believe recruitment. Look at Brighton, for fuck's sake. Brighton, every year are buying supreme quality players. Where are they getting them from? All Spurs have to do is find out who Brighton are going for and then sign them before him, because they're signing players for like 2 or 3 million. That Belieber guy, what a midfielder he is. He will be going for 100 mil again next season. Matoma, brilliant player. Caicedo, the list goes on. How many good players they've had. Cucurella, they sold for 50 million. He's not turned out to be amazing afterwards, but they sold him for 50 million, bought him for about 4 million. It's not always we have to spend top dollar all the time. And and not only that, Levy has been spending quite big. Most of our players that are in the first team now cost 40 million plus. So he does sign players, but is he signing for the wrong managers? And maybe we were signing players for Pochettino. We built a team because we knew we were keeping Pochettino, and we built one of the best teams we've probably had in recent history. Probably the best team we've had in recent history, actually. And we had like Moussa Dembele, we had Dele Alli. He was cheap. He was only 5 million. We had Christian Eriksen, was only 12 million or something. Toby Alderweireld, never say that name. Yang Vertonghen, Lloris. All these players weren't £100 million players, but they ended up looking like £100 million players. So if you get a manager in with ambition, a certain style of play, he knows exactly what he wants, back that manager, give him time. It's been proven by the Pochettino era that it does work, and you can see already with the Postecoglou era. He's got all the players he's wanting now in. He's got the style he wants to play. They know the style that he wants to play. It's very clear, and it's starting to mold together. It's starting to click. It's not all like sunny and rosy at the moment. There's still going to be losses. There's still going to be bad performances. We've still got young players that are going to underperform. But I can see it again heading in the right direction as we were with Poch. Lister says negative fans who are furious for us never winning trophies are now mocking Ange for saying he wants to win trophies this year. I don't get them, Ange outers. Yeah, and this is what I was saying to you the other day, Liston, as well, when we was on the live, when I said we have a manager that wants to win everything. He doesn't want just top four. He believes he can win everything. He believes in his style of play. He won't waver from what he thinks is a winning formula. He doesn't need to sign £100 million players. He said he'd rather have two £50 million pound which fits perfectly into the way Levy thinks anyway. He wants to be here. He's proud to be here. He plays in a brilliant attacking style football. He's not afraid to play against any side. He wants to try and beat anyone. He literally is the epitome of to dare is to do, and you want him sacked because he hasn't won the league yet in one season, or a trophy in one season. These fans sometimes really confuse me. What do you want? Do you want a manager that comes in who thinks he's better than Tottenham, like Conte, for example? He comes in. He's a brilliant manager. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slagging off his managerial skills, but he's come in. He knows exactly what Levy wants. He knows exactly how much Levy's going to back him. He knows exactly how the club is, the Spursy mentality, all this. He knew all this before he signed that fucking contract. And then when it didn't go his way, he tried to blame the club, knowing where the club was when he came in. And I think that is, that's why I don't like the guy anymore. You came in knowing what the situation was, and now you're fucking fucked off, and now you're telling us that we're a shit club, shit history bullshit. You obviously haven't seen our history, because in history we were a fucking good side back a long time ago, but we were. So learn your history before you slag us off. It's true what you're saying about Brighton. Incredible player value for the little money they spent on the team, but at the end of the day, they aren't good enough to challenge for titles. No, they're not. They're not good enough to challenge for titles, but if they're good enough to spend 3 million on each player that they bring in, by the way, and still finish in the top 10 and never keep those players, by the way, they sell them every year. Imagine what Brighton would do if Brighton kept their players every year. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but the players Brighton have signed in the last 5 years, can you imagine if they kept every single one, how good they would be right now? And with a manager playing the right philosophy. Let's say they had De Zerbi for argument's sake, and he had all those players that he signed. Can you imagine how good they would be? If Spurs bought the same players as Brighton signed and we didn't sell them, can you imagine how good we would be? So as much as it's we need to spend £100 million, again, like for another example, when we do spend big, for example, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Sanchez, have they worked? No. So not always spending massive money works either. I'd say the most average spending we've made turned out to be the best players, like Dele Alli, 5 million. What a player he was. I know he's fell off lately, a lot of mental health issues, but for those 2 or 3 years that he was on fire, I'm telling you, he was a brilliant player. 5 million. We got his money worth off him in one season anyway. Arda says, I'm pretty sure if we win the Europa League, people will say it's not the Champions League, or if we win the League Cup, it's Mickey Mouse Trophy. Same fans are really toxic in football. Exactly. And this is what I was saying earlier in the stream. You're never going to please everyone, but as a fan base to your own club, appreciate your own winnings, because nobody else outside Spurs are going to care what we win. They're always going to find a way to say you're shit. They're going to. They're rival fans. I just hate it when our own fans do it to ourselves, like own goals, basically. We are, if we win a League Cup, for me, I'd be very, very happy, and I would celebrate it like we won the league. Just to get that trophy off the shoulder, you know, that big weight off your shoulders, get that trophy out, win that, and, you know, progress from there. You know, don't go 17 years again without a trophy. Start winning them year on year. I know we're never going to win them every single season, but if we can start winning trophies consistently, let's say, I don't know, 5 trophies in the next 10 years, I'll be happy with that. You know, I'd be happy. You know, we'd be back to, you know, a cup team winning cups again, and maybe even have a title challenge in a few years' time. I'd love that. You know, and I wouldn't give a shit what fucking rival fans said then, because we were winning things, you know, and we'll have that day at Wembley and we'll have those memories. So fuck whatever fans say anyway. Peter says, hi all, 8:34 p.m. in Melbourne. Hi Peter, mate. I did my live a little bit earlier today, so you can, so you can stay up and watch it. You're working nights anyway, aren't you? So yeah, so whose fault is it that we're not winning leagues and we're not winning trophies? That's my biggest question. Whose fault is it? Why are we not winning it? Is it just because it's not our time? And what I mean by that is, Liverpool had their time in 90s, I'd say, yeah, maybe 80s and 90s. They were winning leagues every bloody year. And not only that, so were Everton, by the way. In that era, Everton were winning leagues and Liverpool were winning leagues. So that was their time. Then you had like 90s really was Man United, a little bit of Leeds, a little bit of Blackburn, but it was mainly Man United. Yeah. Then you got the Arsenal and Man United. Then it was Chelsea, Man United, and Arsenal. They all had their time, and then now it's the City era. It's their time to, you know, win the league every year. Is there going to be a time where it's our time? You know, we've got the best stadium in the world. We've got the best training facilities. We're one of the richest clubs in the world now. We've got a very, very good manager now. We're starting to follow a process. We're starting to even our I'll say our signings have improved now, so our recruitment's improving. Still not on the Brighton level, but even our recruitment's improving, in my opinion. Are you on standby, Peter? Okay, mate. Hopefully you have a non-busy day today. Hopefully, mate. Liston says, I even saw a toxic so-called Spurs fan saying he wouldn't even celebrate a game-winning Kulusevski goal that wins us a trophy because Kulusevski is shit. End of quote. Wow. That guy sounds like an idiot to me, to be honest, because Kulusevski, by the way, is one of the best midfielders in the league at the moment. And you can ask any pundit or any fan that, and most of them would say he is. He's at the moment being unplayable. Very, very good player in the middle. He's still got to prove consistency, obviously. He's still got to play consistently at that level all season for me to say, yep, you know what? He's fucking brilliant. He's been playing brilliantly lately. There's How can you not celebrate a trophy just because a certain player scores? That's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard, and I've heard some fucking ridiculous ones. Peter says, let's be patient with Ange. Rome wasn't built in a day." Exactly, and history tells us that the only times we've ever, gave managers time was Pochettino, and look what happened. Title chases, Champions League finals. There was a time in our recent history in the Premier League, we could never even get into the Champions League. We couldn't even get into the competition. Now we've got into a final. So, we're nowhere near as bad as we used to be years back. Nowhere near. Chalks talks Tottenham. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Chalks, mate. How you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you're still creating videos. Anybody that's on the chat at the moment, please smash that like button and please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, subscribe to Chalks Talks Tottenham. He's also he's early into his YouTube career. He needs a bit of a support. Watch some of his videos, like, comment on there, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bingai. We all are getting fooled by media bullshit. Choose one type of football that's rubbish to win something. Gotta be good at every bit of everything: possession, counter, attack, set pieces, also lucks. Yeah, exactly, Ben Guy. There's so much there is to winning trophies and winning leagues. It's not down to just one thing. Like Pep Guardiola would tell you himself, in my opinion, he's the best manager that's ever existed. Pep Guardiola, yeah? He might have been helped a bit more by funding and things like that, but he is. He's a very good man manager, very good coach, very good, leader. He's got everything, yeah? And even he will tell you, to win some of those leagues that he's won, he needed a bit of luck. And how many times did Liverpool take him to the wire? How many Arsenal took him to the wire last year? You need that bit of luck in games too. And he will tell you he doesn't think just because the way he plays is the only reason why they win. There's luck, like you said, Bing Guy. There's set pieces that he might have lost in a final of a competition. There's mentality. There's poor form from players. There's poor mentality from some players. There's poor I can't think of the word, but when players get sent off and he can't control any of that sort of thing when they lose their heads and things like that. So there's so much that goes into winning something. And when you've got a team like Manchester City that are winning trebles, so basically they're taking away any chance of us winning anything if they're winning everything. So there's even less chance of us winning trophies, if that makes sense. Peter says, my cousin and brother, we both play at a decent level. I showed them and watched a podcast. I won't name which one. They reckon they are a bunch of clowns. Yeah, there's some YouTubers I've stopped watching now because it's just the same old pattern. If we lose, then Ange doesn't know what he's doing. If we win, then it's a fluke, or we haven't beat a big side. It's always an excuse every time we win why it's not good enough, and I'll just stop watching them now. Put your details, Chalk. Yeah. So Peter says, put your details, Chalk, and Peter will have a look at your channel. Cheers for that, Peter. Appreciate it. Peter, I want Pep to go to Burnley with a budget of £100 and see how good he is. He will still be a good manager, but he won't have, like you say, the background to be successful. So like what's his name? Who was manager of Burnley last year? Vincent Kompany. Yeah, Vincent Kompany is a good manager in my opinion, just the way he plays. But he didn't have the players to do anything at Burnley, and now he's gone to Bayern Munich. I'm not sure how he's doing there, but last time I checked, they were losing in the Champions League to someone, Barcelona, I think 3-0 or something. So I don't know, but he got a Bayern Munich job, so and he was at Burnley. Extreme is awesome. Hello there, mate. Hi, Extreme. How you doing, mate? Gotta love that I'm not cynical. I just got to tell it how it is. Ball or our fans are spewing. Do they actually like it when we win, or is the hate turning them on somehow? Sorry about how I read things. It's really small, and I sound like I can't read, but I can read. It's just really, really small. Yeah, I understand that, because I find it very strange to. I hate this phrase, call it out. You call it out, but you don't at the same time level it off with what actually went right that game. So, like, for example, the Newcastle game, we were on top. We all know what happened. We were on top. We should have scored. We didn't finish. It was the final third that was the problem. We didn't have Solanke on that day, by the way. Richarlison was injured. Will Lancashire was out. We had a lot of forward players out. It's no excuse. Like, we still could have scored loads of goals in that game. Don't get me wrong. We still could have, but we didn't. Right, and we lost. So my analysis on that would be, the only problem we had in that game was the final third. We played very, very well. Possession was high, winning all of our duels, winning the second balls. Pressing was brilliant. Creating chances were good, but just the finishing was off. That would be my analysis on it. But the only analysis I got from the other side, the other view was, yeah, but winning's all that matters. And this is the same pattern as last season. And it wasn't the same pattern as last season, because I compared Newcastle last season away to Newcastle this season away. And last season, we came away from Newcastle thinking, bloody hell, I'm glad we didn't lose 7-0, 8-0. That could have been even more embarrassing. This season, we came away from Newcastle thinking, bloody hell, we could have won that. So to me, there was a massive improvement. So I wanted to point that out. And I got called a happy clapper and over positive and fake positivity and all this bullshit, because I came out with, you know what, that was a lot better. We should have won. We didn't. I'm unhappy that we didn't win, and I was really frustrated that we didn't win. But I could see improvements massively, and to say all that crap to me because I was seeing good, and I said soon we're going to get a big win away. We're going to get a big win away, and we did against Man United. And again, that wasn't good enough. Man United are shit apparently, but before the game they all predicted 2-2. So if Man United were that shit, why are you predicting us to draw then? So it didn't make sense to me. Morning, mate. Everyone smash the like, please. Cheers, JTP. How you doing, mate? Hope you're all right. Yeah, everyone smash the like if you're if you've just joined. It's easy, it's free, doesn't take long. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. Listen, I know Peter. Sorry, exactly. Alan didn't have the players. Yeah, Liston. In my mind, we've been playing much better this season. We've played last year, even considering those first 10 games, we're getting counted nearly as much, even with the high line. Yeah, and I'm telling you now, you look at last season, first 19 games, we got 36 points. The last 19 games, we got 30 points. There was a 6-point difference, but the media would like to tell you that we fell off a cliff in the second half of the season. And we did get lots of injuries. I'm telling you now, we had a lot of struggles to deal with. There was a 6-point difference in the second half of the season. And most of that was because of those last 6 games against all the top teams when we was on a really bad run of form, and we lost 5 out of 7 at the end of the season. But we still got 30 points in the last 19 games compared to the 36 points we got in the first 19 games where we had that amazing run at the beginning of the season. Was there a massive fall off? I would say at the end, yeah. But overall, 6 points. That's all it was. Scott says, hi, mate. Good to see you again. Just want to say good work, but let's stick to the subject at hand. From Aussie, mate. How you doing, Scott, mate? Hope you're okay. Cheers for your comment. And yeah, let's stick to the subject. Why don't we win trophies? We will. I can see a change in the Spurs, and and the belief from the manager. It's we're going to win a trophy this year. If not this year, definitely next year. But this year we're going to win. Peter says yes, he did today. I agree, Liston. From JTP, Peter says the team is improving. 3 or 4 more players and Spurs will be cooking. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We're still not perfect yet. There's still so much improvement that needs to be done in this squad. From the squad we had just over a year and a half ago, where we had the likes of Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, Royale, and I can't even remember his name. He's gone to Villa now. The defense was crap. We had Højbjerg, Skip in the midfield. You know, our best striker was Richarlison. Oh no, Sonny was still our best striker. Don't get me wrong, but like we had Richarlison at number 9. Yeah, we've dramatically improved our squad. I reckon our recruitment's really improved us. Haters all, everyone else happy. Chat clappers, mate. Fuck them. Exactly. If you can see a positive in your club, you're a happy clapper. Maybe someone needs to remind them that supporting your club means support through the bad too. You don't just get to support your club when they win, because that's not supporting, is it? When your team are down, let's say, for example, at the ground, I don't know how many of you been, but I've been quite a few times. Yeah, you go to the ground. When your team are losing, that's when you support the most. That's not when you stand up, walk out and go, oh, we're shit, I'm not supporting them anymore. That's when they need you the most. When the players are going through a bad run of form, that's when they need you the most. That's when you should be supporting them. You don't just turn up and go, yeah, I support Ange now because he's won something. That's bollocks. You can't just turn up and say, I support him now. I was wrong. Shit. Fucking hell. I could be wrong about winning a trophy. I could be wrong about us and staying for the next couple of years and winning trophies. I could be wrong about all that. But I'd rather be wrong, like trying to back my side, than rather than be right, not backing them. It's crazy. We've also been quite unlucky. Liston says we've also been quite unlucky. If you look at expected goals against, we've conceded more than we should. Our opponents have been more clinical statistically than they should have been. And even so, Liston as well, even though we've conceded goals, we're playing all out attack, apparently naive attacking football, and only leaving a couple at the back apparently, and we've only let in 1 goal more than Arsenal's supreme defence that play defensive football, by the way. I've been playing very defensive football and very safe football. We've conceded 1 goal more than them. So where is this narrative coming from now that we don't defend? It's crazy. We've got one of the best goal differences in the league, by the way. Peter says, I'm a happy clapper. Peter, if someone calls you happy clapper, just say good. I've got lots to clap about. Scott, apart from the Timo, the whole team is Rick Rowland teams. Exactly. And I agree, like with Timo, right? Let's have it with Timo. He's full of energy, runs a lot, works very hard, always calls for the ball, always still wants the ball, even how poor his confidence is, he's still asking for the ball. So that shows character and bravery, in my opinion. But, massive but, he's not good enough at with a final product, and that's what's letting him down. He's not crossing very well. He's definitely not finishing very well. He's missed so many one-on-ones. Somebody inject some confidence into Timo Werner and see what happens. But at the moment, he's not good enough because he's not producing anything. Werner will contribute. You can get so much space and be shit. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's always in space. He always seems, his movement's brilliant. He just doesn't do anything with it. I think his movement looks better because no one's marking him because they don't need to. Scott, look, when he came on against whatever, he is off the ball. His positioning is real bad. No, his position is good. He's always in the right position. He's always there for a one-on-one. He just doesn't finish the one-on-one. He's always there for the through ball as well. But there's just a lot of the times, if you watch the next game where he plays, he'll be in space, but midfielders are choosing not to pass to him. And that will probably hit his confidence even more, to be honest. Chalks, all successful teams need good players, time, and a bit of luck. Yeah. And sometimes you don't need all the world-class players to win things, because everyone will always go back to the Leicester winning the Premier League. Vardy was 1 million from non-league. I think Conte was about 5 million. Mahrez was about 3 million. And they were all unknown players, all of them. And they came and gelled together and won the league. They became brilliant players, but they wasn't known brilliant players at the time. And how many times that often happened in the Premier League? It happens all the time. A player Where did Cole Palmer come from? He came out of nowhere. So Cole Palmer is now one of the best players in the league. I'm trying to think off the top of my head how many players came out of nowhere. Like Mainu from Man U. No one knew who Mainu was until last season when he came out from the youth team and became their best midfielder, in my opinion. HB, if you can take City out of the equation, we would have won a few. However, Levy never gives the managers what they need. In my opinion, it has improved a lot, though. Yeah, and I'd say Levy has a lot to answer to regarding like we were speaking earlier about Mourinho getting sacked before a cup final. I didn't agree with that. There's no guarantee he was going to win it, but with Mourinho, you've got more of a chance because he's a serial cup winner. I thought that was a very strange decision to sack him then. There's times when, Pochettino needed backing for when we was going for titles. We just needed 2 or 3 more players and we would have been the best team. We would have won the league. If we had just had those backup players to come in that were good enough. Sorry. Bing Guy says negativity sells, right? Negativity does sell, unfortunately. I'll try not to do that because I don't care. I'm not here to sell anything. Scott, more should have come on when we were 4-1 up, but oh well, lost expectation for him. The only reason why Moore ain't coming on in these games, because Werner is on a high salary loan, and if we're not playing him, it's going to look even more of a bad decision to keep him. In my opinion, I think he's trying to get confidence into Werner, but I think soon, if Werner carries on like this, I don't think Werner's going to get any game time. However, JTB says, however, even at our best, we always seem to be a couple of players away. Yeah, but again, look at last year. Our squad was massively thin, in my opinion. We lost a lot of our first team players, and then the squad players had to come in, and we still finished 5th. That's crazy if you think about it. Like, that was underestimated how well Postecoglou did last season. No off the ball in defense, mate. I don't know what that means. Bingar says not long ago, Timo was part of German international starting 11. What happened to him, really? Bingar, I was a footballer years and years ago, back in the day. I was playing semi-professional football, and with me, I was like a Timo Werner. Like at first, when I was young and I didn't give a shit about anything, I was a very, very, I'd say, very, very good player. I'm blowing my own trumpet. I was good. I was okay, right? But when it came to pressure, I was shit. As soon as there was pressure on, I couldn't control the ball. I couldn't do a simple pass. When I was in front of I used to score goals for fun. I remember scoring I think nearly 40 goals in 14 games or something at youth level. I was like under 14s or something, and scoring goals for fun. As soon as there was any pressure, I couldn't hit the target to save my life. It's 100% mentality. I promise you. You can have 90% skill, and it's 90% mentality and 10% skill. I'm telling you now, without mentality, you can't do fuck all. I'm telling you, I used to freeze. Like I didn't know when you're trying to think of something and you have brain fog, it's like it happens to your whole body. You have like body freeze. It just doesn't do what you want it to do. It's strange. It's definitely a mentality thing. But sometimes you can never get that mentality back, and Werner may never get it back, and that's the sad look at it. To be honest, Chelsea fucked him up like they do every striker. Werner's runs are always good. However, he couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo. No, he couldn't. He couldn't hit like I don't know. He couldn't hit. I don't know. Yours is better. I ain't doing any more. Fuck that. Scott, attack is great until final third, but I watched him went off the ball and he was stuck in no man's land between passes from West Ham players. Yeah, because did you see that when they passed him the ball out wide and he just got turned around and kicked it straight off the pitch? Did you see that? That's a mentality thing. He does not do that in training, because if he did that in training all the time, he wouldn't even be in the squad. So he must be doing something right in training where there's no pressure. As soon as there's pressure, bang, he just goes gone. Anything he knew about football's gone. Scott says he was so he was so stuck in quicksand in defense, stuck in quicksand. Yeah, watch him in defense when he came on last game, mate. It was bad. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, the last game as well. I agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying about Werner. He's playing dog shite, and I promise you, he's not a dog shite player. He's just mentality fucked in the head, and it's been happening for the last 4 or 5 years now. Well, say 4 years since he went to Chelsea, and he's lost everything now. He's lost it all up here. There's no way in hell that he can't play at a high level if his brain was right, and he needs counselling. I think more than anything. Um, Listen, our expected goals against are 8 and we've conceded 9. Liverpool's are 7 but conceded only 3. These things tend to equal out over a full season, though. Yeah, so we're expected to concede less than we're conceding. And we've got, I'd say, what, are we 4th or 5th best defence in the league at the minute? Only one, we've conceded the same amount as Manchester City, by the way. So if they got, are they naive? Is Pep naive now because he's conceding the same amount as Spurs? We'll see over time, though. It's only a small sample size. It's only been 8 games, so we'll see how long this goes on for. Those was about Timo, but yeah, I know, I know, Scott. JTB, I was the same, mate. As a kid, I was the best in training, but the worst in matches due to pressure. Yeah, see so you'll understand then, JTB. It really does affect you when you can't, when you're not confident and you're scared, and I'd say it is fear. Because I would say mine was fear of not scoring, fear of everybody expecting you to score, fear of everyone expecting you to be the best and you not being the best. It really froze me up. It made me freeze on the pitch. It really did. I wish at the time I knew what the problem was. I just thought I was just crap, but it wasn't. I knew well, it's weird. It's hard to explain. I knew I wasn't crap. I could do it in training all day long. I remember in a training session when I first joined this club, I scored something like, it was, don't get me wrong, it's an hour and a half training session. It was a 7-a-side. It was first team versus second team, but I was in the second team, not the first team. And I scored in that hour and a half 14 goals against the first team. But as soon as I played in an actual match, I froze and I couldn't score to save my life. I remember being 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper 3 times and I hit it straight at him, knowing that I could have just gone round him. Every time in my head, I was like, I'm going to go round him. And then I didn't. I just kicked it at him in a panic sort of thing. It was weird. And like Werner's going through the same shit. So I understand what he's doing. Chalk says that's the difference between good teams and winners. Winners just know how to handle and cope with the pressure. And to add to that, Chalks, you've got to learn to be a winning team. Sometimes you have to build into being a winning team. Look how long the Gooners have taken to challenge for the top. Arteta has changed their mentality. He's changed them into like, you can win. He's got some good players in there now. But from day one, they wasn't like that. From year 2, there wasn't like that. Year 3, they wasn't like that. They bottled top 4, remember, in his 3rd season. They was bottling top 4. It's only clicked in the 4th season. And now their 5th season, and in the 5th season, which was last season, they only just lost the league. But that took them 5 years. And some of our fans are expecting us to win trophies and everything and be a top 3, top 2 team in the 1st season. And they already wanted them out after the 4th game of the 2nd season. It's a lot of pressure. But I think Postecoglou is slowly installing this mentality. The mentality wavered against Brighton, though. Definitely wavered against Brighton. But obviously he's spoken to him about it, and we've come back and smashed West Ham. I watched the game 3 times. He was a joke, sadly, and I'm half German, Austrian, Australian. You've got 3 halves, mate. You're half German, half Austrian, and half Australian. You've got 3 halves, mate. You are a big guy. The stream is awesome. I hope Ange hires some premium sports psychologist for players who are struggling, like Werner with finishing and Romero with not switching off. The quality that would emerge would be legendary. Yeah, I agree, Extreme. And if the player is doing well in training and bad in games, it's obviously a mentality issue. So look at Richarlison just last year when he scored that goal. He got a goal and then he scored a goal again. I don't believe that one goal changed mentality, but I believe The 4 goals he scored in 4 games changed it. Then he just kept scoring, and unfortunately he got injured again. But his mentality changed because it's about doing as well. You can have all the psychology in the world, but if nothing changed on the pitch, like let's say his mentality changed and he was really confident, Werner, I mean, was really confident and playing really well, but he hit the post 4 times and he hit the goalie, and the goalie did 3 magnificent saves and he didn't score, I still think his mentality would dip again, even though it wasn't his fault he didn't score. You know, JTB says however, Werner could easily afford a sports therapist. I couldn't with my pocket money of £2 a week. Well, again, yeah. And remember Emerson Royale, how much stick he got from Spurs fans last year? He got himself a mentality coach, and he, done that extra training, and he started playing very, very well, in my opinion. Liston, you don't have to be a body language expert to see that when Timo gets into 1v1 with the keeper, he's thinking, don't miss, instead of now watch me score. Yeah, exactly. 100%. You could see in his body language, you could see as a fan where he's going to put that ball. So if we can see it as a fan, that goalie 100% knows where Timo Werner's going. He opens his body right up like this. So you could see everywhere where his foot's going to go and where he's going to place that ball. Everyone can see it a mile off. He needs to score a 1-on-1. He doesn't need to score a tap in. He needs to score a 1-on-1, and then they'll flow, hopefully. Christoph, there's been a lot of talk that Ange leaves after 3 years and doesn't stick around long, but that's only after he achieves success. He needs to achieve it before leaving becomes an option. Yeah, and I believe that as well, mate. 100%. He's not going to just piss off and just go, oh, fuck this, I can't do it. He hasn't got that mentality. His mentality is, I'm going to win on all costs, if obviously Levy keeps him. And I can't see Levy getting rid of a manager that doesn't want £100 million players, who doesn't need £100 million players. He knows his philosophy, believes 100% that he's going to win something with Spurs. Levy's not going to sack this guy. He would have to do something really, really bad for him to be sacked. He'd have to finish in the bottom half or something, because I can't see us finishing below 5th. I can see us finishing above 5th, 3rd or 4th. I've been saying it from the beginning of the season. Christoph says it's too important for him to leave before that, so he could be here for 3 to 4 years, maybe. Yeah, and who's to say? Because he's at the highest level now. Who's to say he won't win a couple of trophies here and stay for a bit, try and win a title or something? Let's put it this way. If Postecoglou, hypothetically, I'm not saying this is going to happen before I get clipped. I'm just saying, if hypothetically Postecoglou won a title, he won, let's say, 2 trophies, an FA Cup and the League Cup, and then he left, right? Everyone would be gutted that he left, but we can say we've got a title, an FA Cup and a League Cup. Our mentality would be higher when he leaves. Our mentality wouldn't be Spursy anymore. We'd have a lot of youngsters, because he's brought a lot of youngsters in. We'd have a core of really good quality youngsters in our team. Whoever came in would be coming into a winning team. And who's to say the next manager won't come in and win something as well? And he's already said he's coming in to make sure the future manager has, a chance of winning things as well, which I think is a brilliant mentality to have. Christoph says, I'm an Aussie, so I know the history of Ange pretty well, and I don't see him leaving anytime soon. I really hope you're right, mate, because I really back this manager. Scott, Aussie's here too, and I do see it. I don't see it either. Yeah, I hope you're both right, because and obviously you guys would know a lot more about Ange before he came to the western side of the world, and he's for me, I researched him a hell of a lot, because I've got a channel, and it's only right that I did. I've bought his book. I've still only read 2 chapters. I still ain't had time to read any more, but so far so good. I'm reading that book called Ange Ball by that Vince guy, and yeah, so far it's a very good read. And this guy is a winner, and all Spurs fans have all asked for years and years and years, we need a winner. Okay, we've got one. Why do you want him to leave? JT, this. I want to say one more thing that annoys me. when they say he's only won in Japan, he's only won in Australia. Don't disrespect these leagues, man. Like, these are not, just because they're not the Premier League. The Premier League gets really egotistic, in my opinion. You know, like, I've seen other YouTubers saying that the La Liga is better than the Premier League, you know, and why not? Why can't it be? And the fact that maybe the Premier League's got the most money in it doesn't always mean it's the best. And saying that, when you're winning in the Australian League, by the way, you've got the same caliber of players in that league as everyone else. When you're in Japan and you don't know the first language and you're winning titles, not even being able to speak the language, is incredible as it is. He's won at the international level, which a lot of managers can't say the same, by the way. I hate the disrespect you put on a Scottish league as well. You're expected to be a winner at Celtic. You're expected to. And let's go back to the expectations. Expectations, if you lose a game for Celtic, you know, you could be sacked just for losing one game. So I think he's massively underrated, Andrews. Massively underrated. JTB, give Clive Allen to teach Werner how to finish. You're right, logic. His finishing is so obvious. Practice feints and dinks in training every day. Fuck's sake, I've got good at them on FIFA on my Xbox. If you play it on your Xbox every day, mate, and you're better than Werner already, maybe you should sign for Spurs and see what happens. Extreme's awesome. Imagine the accolades of bringing a team treated like such a joke to have a word created to diss them and then turn things around, winning multiple trophies and having most teams fear us from then on. Exactly. Can you imagine that? Like, and this is what he loves. Like, and if you've researched Andrew, you know Andrew, you've seen Andrew in the past, he thrives on this sort of stuff. He's like built for Spurs because he'll come in and he wants to turn around all this Spursy shit that we keep getting. Turn that around and turn us into the team that's going to start winning trophies every season, season in, season on out, and make teams think, bloody hell, they're not Spursy anymore. What nickname are we going to be given if we win trophies every season? There's still going to be people criticizing us, even if we win things. Like, oh, you've only won. Let's say we won 2 more FA Cups in the near future. You've only won 10. Liverpool have won more than that. Arsenal have won more FA Cups. Stop sticking your chest out. You'll still get shit. But I don't care. I want to like enjoy while I'm still alive. Enjoy us winning things because there's probably many of us now that have been so starved of just watching our captain lift the trophy. I so want Sonny to lift the trophy. I so want him to lift the trophy. Imagine his smiling face lifting up that trophy with a big grin on his face. I'd love it. I wouldn't give a fuck what anybody said about how many trophies we've won and all that. We'd have that moment and have that, you know, that iconic picture of Sonny lifting the trophy. That's all I want. I'd love it. And so it's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. And, you know, change the word from impossible to I'm possible and anything can happen. Ange Postecoglou has got the right mentality. He's got the right focus. He's got the right mindset. He knows what he wants. He knows what to tell the scouts what he wants. He knows what to say to the fans. He's got the right word and he's got the right, you know, it's got everything that you need as a Spurs manager. Like Conte, how many times did he say, no, it'd be a dream to be the top 4. It'd be a dream to be top 4. Shut the fuck up, man. It'd be a dream to be top 4. No, it's not a dream to be top 4, mate. How many managers before you got top 4, by the way? Fucking nearly all of them. So Christoph says Ange is from the 90s generation Australia. Back in those days, Aussies were world class in practically every sport. Cricket, tennis, hockey, swimming, football, golden generation. And did you say athletics as well? In like, you know, in the, oh, you said swimming, but like in like Olympics, fucking is always an Australian swimmer that wins. It's like they're part dolphin or something. JTB, wow, have you all forgotten that we are the first and last Premier League team to win an Audi Cup? I apologise, JTB. I forgot about the Audi Cup. I can't remember what year it was, but it was one of the best years of my Spurs life. and we won it, proud, loud and proud. Harry Kane was lifting it, pretending it was a Champions League. Christoph, there would be way more too, yeah. JTB, and wow, I've never knew Conte was half French and half Jamaican. Was my accent that bad? I was trying to sound like an Italian, by the way. Didn't work, obviously. My accents are really bad. Like I've got really bad accents. My accents are that bad, they're funny. That's it for me. I'm not going to have a career on accents, I'm telling you. So do you think as well, another subject I want to get into quickly is, do you think the media makes Spurs look worse than they are? For example, we've had 14 semi-finals in the cup competition since Levy took over, by the way, which no one ever mentions. 14 semi-finals. We've had 6 finals under this guy and 2 title chases, 1 genuine title race and 1 third place finish. But does the media actually make us worse than we are, or are we seriously a joke? Yeah, let's see. You got to try these accents before you know you're crap at them. I knew I was crap at it anyway. I just thought, I couldn't sound like me when I'm trying to speak like Conte. We got 4th. That was a miracle for me, I don't know what that was. So yeah, is the media making us look worse than we are? Are the media saying like, Spursy? Was it the media that made up Spursy, or was it Arsenal? I can't remember, but someone did. And this whole Spursy thing as well. I'm not going to write it off as if it don't exist. But what I'm saying is, to be Spursy, you'd have to be good before that to be Spursy in the first place. Does that make sense? So what I mean is, like, you have to get to a Champions League final to be Spursy. So you have to be good before you get called Spursy. Otherwise, Spursy doesn't exist, does it? So you have to get to a final. You have to go for a title run. And remember, when we went for the title in 16-17, I think that was the title when we finished second, 16-17 season, we won 12 of our last 13 games, by the way, and still finished second. Yeah? Can you see? How the fuck is that Spursy? 12 of the last 13 games. So we didn't bottle anything. We're not bottle jobs like the Gooners that bottle 8-point leads and things like that. We actually won 12 of the 13 games, and we were never top in that whole time. So we didn't bottle nothing. Listener says, I enjoy us getting laughed at and called Spursy. The incoming trophies will taste so much better. You guys watch. We'll have the last laugh one of these days. And yeah, winning is always more sweeter when everyone says you can't. And that's Postecoglou in a nutshell. Every time he's been told you can't, he has. He's the perfect manager for us, I'm telling you. JTB, French that time. I should have pretended to be Wenger. We won 4-0. It should have been 4-0 to the other team. Is that better? Is that Wenger or not? I don't know. Christoph, I heard American Italian gangster. Okay, that'll do. You'll come to my house and you don't show me no respect. I told you I can't do accents. JTB, we had the most points in a calendar year when Chavsky won the league. Yeah, we were the best team that year, weren't we? Best defense, best attack, best at everything, basically, and we didn't win the league. Chelsea scored less goals than us, had a worse defense than us, kept winning in the last minute. Do you remember? Dele Alli said when we was playing 3:00 games, he said we would win 4-0, go in, check the Chelsea score, it'd be 0-0, thinking, yes, we're going to overtake them now. Bang, they'd score a last minute 1-0 victory. They just kept doing that, and it was very frustrating that season, very frustrating. We just didn't consistently do it year on in, though. So JTP says Chinese, Italian. Oh my God. How is that any? There was no Chinese in that one, seriously. Trust the process, lads. Peter says, yeah, okay, we are. That's what I'm saying. I say most people in this chat will be trusting Ange, because most people have seen Ange being told he's out of his depth every single country he goes in. How many managers can say they've won in every country? Not many. And I'll give you a little stat, or a little, I don't know if it's called a stat, but where did Arsene Wenger come from before he joined Arsenal? Does anybody know in the comments? Where was Wenger managing before he joined Arsenal? No one ever mentions that either. Ange loves Werner. Mikey Moore will get some minutes. I don't think Ange loves Werner. I think he can see what he's doing in training and just so confused why he can't do it in a game, probably. Japan, yes. JTB, you are correct. And so are you, Chalks. Wenger came from Japan. And everyone said, who's this guy? Why are we getting an unknown? He's not going to do anything with Arsenal. He's way out of his depth. What is he doing managing this club? That's what he got. And he ended up winning the double with Arsenal. Just saying. But when it's Spurs getting a manager that's managed in Japan, he's out of his depth and he doesn't know what he's doing. Peter says, Ange doesn't just have Spurs supporters on his back. He also has the whole of Australia on his back. Yeah, it's true. Very, very true. There's even a lot of Australian fans that only support Spurs because of Ange, because they follow Ange everywhere he goes. And to be fair, they've got a lot of success from following Ange everywhere he goes, because Ange always seems to win something. And when he stated that fact that he's won in his second season, everywhere he's been, that got misconstrued into saying that he said he was definitely going to win a trophy for Spurs in the second season. He wasn't saying that. He was saying a true fact that he's won in the second season everywhere he's gone, which was true. He wasn't lying. What do you want him to do? Lie about it? Peter says Japan. Yeah, you're correct, mate. Alex Ferguson came to Man United from Scotland, Aberdeen. And that's another thing. Yeah, I forgot about that as well. Yeah, Alex Ferguson came from Scotland. So Alex Ferguson came from Scotland. Yeah. And Wenger came from Japan. Ange came from both of those countries, but again, not good enough. Why? Why is that not good enough? What about the players that come from these countries? What about Sonny? I swear he was playing in South Korea at the beginning of his career and went to Germany, I think, to Leverkusen. But I'm sure players come from other countries as well. What about Van Dijk? He came from Celtic, didn't he? What on all their logic, that if you're coming from those leagues, you're not good enough. Why is Van Dijk probably one of the best defenders that the Premier League's ever seen, but he came from Celtic? There's probably a million examples of this. Players coming from weaker leagues and being one of the best players in the league. Haaland came from the German league, from Dortmund. Dortmund weren't the best team in the world, but he's come to the Premier League and done well. I'm trying to think of better examples than that. There must be, like, if in the comments, tell me where these players have come from and been. What about Mahrez? Who is Mahrez playing for? You know, Leicester's Mahrez, before he came to Leicester and won the league with Leicester, and then ended up winning leagues with Manchester City. What about Conte? N'Golo Conte. Where did he come from? It was like some low French league team. Vardy came from the non-league for 1 million. He was a non-league player, by the way, and they signed him for 1 million. Stream said, let the rest of the league laugh at us, allow the media fuel the hatred, get them believing in the high line, a suck at corners, catch them by surprise with a masterclass from Decky. Exactly. Well, at the moment, no one can live with Decky, can they? Decky apparently was not good enough at the beginning of the season. Decky was not good enough to be in this squad. Our squad is really weak because we've got players like Decky and Johnson. Okay. Johnson scored 6 goals in 6 games. Only Harry Kane in recent history has done that, by the way. Not a mean feat. Kante was French second division and then to Leicester. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. I couldn't remember what French team he was playing for, but it was a low league team. So now you're telling me it's French second division they got N'Golo Kante from. N'Golo Kante has won the World Cup since, the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup. I think he's even won the Europa League. I think he's won everything. And he was 3.6 million, I think, if I remember correctly. 3.6 million coming from a shit league, and he ended up being one of the best midfielders ever. So why is this narrative always like Ange doesn't know what he's doing because he hasn't managed in the Premier League before, or hasn't managed in a top European country, as people are saying? I think it's a lazy fucking narrative to bring out. Ian Wright went from non-league to Palace. We nearly signed him before Arsenal, for fuck's sake. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, a lot of the only reason why we didn't sell him is because he was playing in non-league. I think that was the reason. And Palace took a punt on him, which was less risk for Palace at the time. And yeah, and the rest is history. So again, when we have this narrative of we're not signing £100 million players, we haven't got the top managers in the world, which we did have before, and that didn't work. All these managers and players came from somewhere and became great. They wasn't like, I'm trying to remember where Pep came from, because he wasn't always Barcelona and Bayern, was he? Or was his first job Barcelona? I'm sure it wasn't. Can someone like Google that for me or something? JTB says, I love Wrighty after reading his book 2 years ago, and he's a great pundit. Yeah, I think so. I think Ian Wright's very, very fair. And I think Ian Wright speaks on both sides of the argument rather than just one narrative. Yeah, I agree with you. Ian Wright does speak a lot of sense. I like him as a guy as well. I think Ian Wright's a good guy. Big guy, we once signed Soldado. Yes, we did. We signed loads of shit players that year, didn't we? Apart from Ericsson, I think it was. Lamela was all right, to be honest. I like Lamela. When do you think Levy will sack Ange? I don't think he will. Ange is going to get himself into a position where he'll be unsackable. Listen, a friend of Wenger told him to sign Conte from that French team, but Wenger said no way. He said later it was a big mistake. Yeah, see? The great Arsene Wenger didn't understand that you can get good players from League Two. Extreme is awesome. What with that anti-foreigner logic, are you surprised that Tuchel gets all the stick for being German? Exactly. And with England, for example, they have got some upcoming world-class players. Cole Palmer, Bellingham, Foden. These are genuinely world-class players. Harry Kane. The list goes on. Declan Rice, brilliant holding midfielder. You've got all these fucking players, and all you need is a manager to knit all this together that knows how to win cup competitions, that knows how to win and won't take no shit, no fucking crap from the players. Tuchel would be a good fit for England just because he's German. What? So who cares? We're not in 1941 anymore. You know, who gives a shit? If he wins us a World Cup, is anyone going to give a shit? No one will. Everyone will call him the Messiah. If he wins the World Cup, I'm not being funny. I don't care if he's German. If he wins the World Cup, he should get a statue. Why not? He really should. Amin says, world class, but no World Cup. Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is we've got up and coming potential world class. And when I say world class is in you're a world class player, but world class is being world class and winning the World Cup. And there's no reason why this group of players are not good enough to do that. You know, we had a pretty decent side and got to a semi-final. No, we got to a final of the World Cup and a final of the Europa League, a final of the Euros as well. We've had 2 finals now. And this team is getting better and stronger, in my opinion. So they just need that manager to knit it all together, and you never know. Tuchel's a very, very good manager. But again, if Tuchel came to someone like Spurs, he would want it all now. And we need a manager to build us up to that level. Bingo, when you look at the history of Premier League, mostly dictators brought success. Sir Alex and Wenger, Jose, Pep, Klopp. Mostly dictators. What do you mean by that, Bingo? JTB, the problem is we also have Harry Maguire and Pickford. Yeah, they can fuck off. Like they won't be there forever. Do you think Tuchel will just get rid of Maguire straight away? He won't rate Maguire, hopefully. Bingo, gotta give them some power to control players ruthlessly. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true. If you don't, like, even Arteta is a case for this as well. Arsenal gave all the power to Arteta and said, we're not going to sack him, so either like him or fuck off. And that's what they've done with him. And now the players know that he's in charge. and that gave him more respect. So it does work. A three-legged dog says, I'm an Aussie and do not like the England team being urged by anyone non-English. Why not get a couple German players as well? Okay, I don't think that's how it works, mate. If you could just get any players you wanted around the world, then it wouldn't be international anymore. It would just be club football again. I think that's the whole point. But yeah, I have no problem with him being German. There's no problem to me at all. In fact, German are quite friendly people. I like German people. So yeah, I have no issue with it at all, especially if he wins or something. You know, you can't like say, oh, he's German, and then when he wins, back him. No, you back him from the beginning, in my opinion. Just like Ange, back him from the beginning. Don't just say, I support Spurs, I support Ange now that he's won something. Support him on the journey. That's the whole point of the word support. English players individually, brilliant historically, but as a team, Spursy. Yeah, true. It is what it is. But history again will say that, yeah. If you had a word for England, it would be Englandy or something. I can't Engly or something. Yeah, think of a word for it. But if you're always going to go on the past and say, because we haven't won in the past, that means we'll never win in the future. That means nobody would ever win anything, because there's always a bit of the past where you didn't win things. That's like saying Man City were in League Two. That means they will never win the Premier League. That might have been said, but it never happened, did it? They did win the Premier League. And then you could say the same for, like, let's say Arsenal. They haven't won the league in 20 years, coming up 21 years. Does that mean they're never going to win the title? Hope not. But does that mean they're thinking that way? We haven't won the league in 20 years. So that means, therefore, history tells us we're never going to win it again. That's not how it works. And I don't believe in just keep piling on history just to say that's why you won't win in the future. The future has nothing to do with history unless you learn from it. And the whole point of winning things in the future is learning from the past. Ben Guy says, this time perhaps the FA decided to bring some of Prussian old materialistic tradition to the English national side. Yeah, maybe he will change the mentality of the English players to German mentality. Germany win things. Maybe the German mentality in an England team will actually turn us into German mentality. You don't know. Changes are good sometimes, and I agree with you, Ben Guy. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that's a sign of insanity. Restrict players too much freedom. Listen, I'll tell you now, under Tuchel, we're going to have a better setup, a better system, a better way of playing than we would under Southgate. I guarantee you. Listen, the old German, English World War II emotions are fading away decade after decade. That's only a good thing. Exactly. Fuck me, man. 1941 was over 80 years ago now. Get over it, man. It's nothing to do with us now. That was in the past. That's happened. It's a horrible, tragic, disgusting thing to happen. But there's nothing to do with football, for a start. It's nothing to do with football, nothing to do with, I don't hate one German person. I don't hate any of them. The three-legged dog, England then needs to develop English managers. It will be a hollow win if coached by anyone else than an English coach. Yes, we do. There are some good English managers out there. Eddie Howe is not a bad manager. I wouldn't have him over Postecoglou, but he's a good manager. I don't think he's England international level, but he's okay. We do need to coach more English managers. I do agree with you. It would be nice to have a Tuchel level English manager. That would be nice. But at the moment, that's not available. I don't think any English manager at the moment is better than Tuchel. Name one if you can, but JTB, everyone smash the like, please. I keep forgetting to say that, JTB. Yeah, thanks, JTB. Yeah, everyone, please. There's 18 of you watching at the moment. Please smash that like button. It's free. It means a lot more to me than it means to you. But if you did it, I'd be very, very happy. Someone's just smashed it now. Appreciate that. Thank you. It's quick and easy. You can like it and then get on with your day if you don't want to listen to me. But it really helps the channel grow, and it shows me to a wider audience. And if you want me to like spread the positivity and happy clap, I'll happy clap all fucking day long, and they can go shove it, because being called a happy clapper just means you support your club. And if you're a happy clapper, then join my crew, because everybody that's talking in this in the comments at the moment are all supporters of this club through the bad and through the good. You can't slag your club off, wait until they win something, and then support them. That's not the whole point of supporting. If you're supporting them just through the good, then you're just a fan. You're not a supporter. Supporters support their club. Fans just are there when we've won something. Basically, you're a glory hunter. Bing guy lacks a bit of charismatic manners when dealing with media, especially many young English managers. Yeah. Are you talking about Tuchel now? Because if Tuchel's got a bad attitude and he knows what he wants, we've only got to put up with him through tournaments, really. So if he is a mean manager and all he wants is success, then good, long as he does it through a tournament and we win. I don't care how he does it, long as he wins. My joke was too damn cheesy. I guess. The Spursy name for England would be Anglo-Saxons. I get what you did there, mate. I see what you did there, but I don't think it's gonna catch on, mate. I don't think that'll catch on. If you're just starting to watch this now, please smash that like button if you think Spurs can get a trophy this season. Do you think we are? Do you think it's right that we're favourites for the Europa League, or do you fear that someone else is more likely to win it than us? Why do we not win trophies? Is it because of us? Is it because of the Spurs fans? Or have we got the bad mentality, or has that been a learned thing over time because we're not winning things? Is it Daniel Levy's fault? Is it the media's fault for overhyping how bad it is to not win a trophy? We've had 14 semi-finals. We've had 6 finals. We've had 2 title charges. Is that Levy fault? Is that the players' fault on the day? Is that the manager's fault on the day? Is it because we just haven't got the mentality to get over the line? There's so many aspects to not winning things. Is it because City win everything? It gives us less chance of winning things. Is it because City and Liverpool have been so good the last few years that no one else wins apart from them two? It's all about tribalism, Bing Guy says. JTB says it's quick and easy. That's what I tell my missus. Might be why she's always refuses. That's your personal issue, mate. I can't help you there. Chris Peters, a fan is a fanatic. A supporter pays money into the club via purchases of the club. Come on, you Spurs. That's a very good way of looking at it, Chris. But even these ones that are pessimistic about Spurs still go to games. And that's what I mean. They'll still go to games. They still buy the T-shirts. They put a lot of money into the club. I'm not saying they're not doing that. But at the end of the day, they'll come away and they'll pick holes in everything we do and say we're not good enough every 5 minutes and slag off the players to an extent where the mentality drops and then say, see, they're shit. Well, if you're part of the problem of putting the pressure on them, then they're going to play bad. Crazy. Bing Guy says all cousins and stuff. Politics are crazy. Yeah, politics are massively crazy. The media media do it to England as well, by the way. Really, really fucking jump on them when they lose a game. If we carry on this good form for the next couple of games, would you consider debating one of these critical fans again, like you did with Sava a couple of months ago? I was very unprepared for that when I went on to Sava last time, because I went on there like, I don't know, just thinking I would say certain things, and he came out with loads of facts. But then if I knew the facts off the top of my head, which I do now, by the way, I've got it ingrained, then the facts were very manipulated last time. No, I probably wouldn't go back on there ever again. There's just some things that have happened after that as well that I don't agree with, and I just think when you're on there as well, you're just in the comments are just filled with hatred, and you know, there's hatred towards him as well. There's hatred towards him and whoever comes on back in Spurs. And it's just it's not a very nice channel to be on. I'm telling you now, it was a very bad experience for me. I've got a lot more better at talking than the camera now. Before as well, when I went on there, the way me getting words out was really crap. I froze. I didn't say much, and I wish I said more at the time, but I've got a lot more to say now. But what I do now is I just broadcast my thoughts, and I'm not going to use this channel to slag him off either. Let him be him. I'm not going to waste my breath on telling people what I think of him. I just want to get my thoughts out, and if you agree, you agree. If you don't, if you agree with Sava, that's fair enough. You can agree with him. You've all got the right to your own opinions. You've all got your right to slag the club off if you want to, but that's just not what I'm here for. If you want to slag off the club, go to his channel. And that's all I'm saying. Like, if you want to like say negative things or find facts that are, you know, that manipulated facts into saying how bad we were, has he ever mentioned the fact, if you ever see on his channel, that we got, when we were good at the beginning of the season, as he says, we were really good at the beginning and then we got found out? Okay, at the beginning of the season, from the first 19 games, we got 36 points. The last 19 games, we got 30 points. There was a 6-point difference. Has anybody spoke about that? So, you know, and I'd say last 7 games, we really dipped as well. So you can imagine how many points we lost at the end of the season, and there was still only a 6-point difference between the first half of the season and the second. But that was never mentioned. They claim facts, but really they use facts to hide their true emotions. But their facts are manipulated. Look into the facts. When remember that fact that was going around that we haven't beat a top 6 side in the last 10 months. Do you remember that one? See, if I was on my game then, I would have said, how many did we play in those 10 months? Because all he was referring to was those 5 games that we lost at the end of the season. Before that, we never lost to a big 6 club, by the way. We played Villa, beat them 4-0, beat Newcastle 4-0. We drew with Manchester City 3-3. We drew with Man United 2-2. It was only that 4-1 loss to Chelsea before that. And then in that 10 months, by the way, as well, we had a break from the season. That was counted in those 10 months, by the way. We had friendlies, by the way, so they weren't even league games. We had a horrific end to the season. So we had that 1 month where we played Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Newcastle away, and Chelsea. We played all of them in the space of 1 month. We had 1 bad month, not 10. It was 1 in the space of when we played Newcastle. I think it was on the 12th of December. We beat them 4-1. Yeah, we beat them 4-1. In that space of time, we had 16 games. We won 10, drew 3, and lost 3. In that space of December to April, by the way, before we had that horrific run. That's 4 months of winning 10 out of 16 games, drawing 3, and only losing 3. Where was this 10 months of we were shit for? So I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. So I really wish that I was on the channel and I was speaking like I am now, because I just couldn't do that before. I believe that Extreme says, I believe that Spurs have a 90% chance of winning the Europa League, catching injuries, doing half against Brighton, Hove Albion. Dark Horse team doing a brilliant against us would be my concern. No, look, yeah, I understand that there's going to be times again that we're going to lose. There's going to be times we have bad performances. There's going to be times where we have bad performances. The young players are not going to perform. That we have to expect that and just not turn on Ange as soon as it goes wrong. Bingai, welcome to Planet Earth Football Club United Kingdom, also known as FCK. Who needs a smack? JTV. Right, guys, I've got to get going anyway, because I've been talking for an hour and 23 minutes now, and I've got to help my wife with putting the shopping away. So it's really, really nice speaking to all of you. Smash that like button just before you leave. It really helps me get seen to a wider audience, and it really helps. Thank you, everybody, for watching and joining in the conversation. It's been really interesting. I'm glad that everyone's still angin at the moment. Let's see what happens tonight. Hope we get a win. My prediction tonight is going to be, I'd say 3-1 to Spurs. They're not going to be a walkover, in my opinion, especially if we play in the reserve teams. So hopefully we get a win tonight, and I'll do a live tomorrow and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Win, lose or draw, I'll be here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Hope you have a good day and see you next time. And as always, come on, you Spurs.